Week 4 of the SFL kicks off this evening from Trick Jerseys Field at Northwood Stadium as the Minnesota Legend play host to the Chicago Warriors. Good evening, everybody. I am Mike Daggs, and with me in the booth is Gerald Smith. With us on stats tonight, we've got Justin Reside and the legendary Eddie Gage, along with our commissioner and producer Cameron Irvine. You are watching the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. Gerald, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, right? It's a little bit of frigid air being up here in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else. But, hey, look, these are a couple teams that I'm really interested to see how they're going to, they dealt with a little bit of adversity. Chicago's dealt with it for an extremely long time. But Minnesota had a tough game last week and how they lost. So both teams looking to rebound and maybe turn their seasons around.
Well, Chicago is going to get the opportunity to start to try to rebound first as they're going to start off on offense. And offense is one of the places that they have just been struggling. Quarterback Ty Patak, he's actually in the top 10, Gerald, in pass attempts, but 21st in the league in pass completions. So when you're darn near leading the league in throwing the ball, but you're darn near last in completing those passes, it's just a recipe for disaster. Dead last in completion percentage at 39%. Quarterback rating also dead last at 34.1. Not trying to trash the guy, just talking about their struggles. And, that's where it kind of begins and ends for them. They've got to find a way to get him going here.
Right. If you got a QBR that's under the age of I think you have some serious problems.
Absolutely. So we'll see what they can do. Trying to get things going on the ground game. Running back Baloo Scott rejoining the team this season and takes the first carry of the ball game for a gain of 2 yards. We'll see if they're able to use that to their advantage tonight. Currently, the leading rusher on the team is quarterback Ty Patak, who comes out with an empty backfield.
And that's strange to even say. You think your running back, who was really successful when she was here a couple seasons ago, and you still have your quarterback as your leading rusher. That's not saying a whole bunch.
Patak rolls out down to the bottom, throws that direction, and immediately it's picked off. First throw of the night gets picked off and returned back the other way. Nicholas Frossel with the interception, and Minnesota's going to get great starting field position.
Yep, and that is Ty Patak's sixth interception on the season. It really wasn't a really good throw. Rolled out and thought he saw something, and he realized after he threw it, he didn't. Good job by Frossel coming in and being able to pick it off. And this is not how you want to start a game, especially on the road if you're Chicago.
So Minnesota starts off just outside the red zone. Quarterback Johnny Reno under center to get things started. He will also throw, and now never mind, he's going to take off and run with it. And fumble it, and recovered by Chicago. One good turnover deserves another, Gerald. Chicago dodges a bullet, gets the ball right back.
Yeah, both quarterbacks who are not playing to the potential that we've actually seen them in the past turn the ball over on their very first plays where they have the ball in their hands. One via the passing throws a pick. Reno just didn't get down quite quick enough, and they lodged the ball back out. And let's reset it for Patak in Chicago.
Looks like Derek Majors was the one that punched that ball free. And Patak has the ball once again, goes back down to Baloo Scott, tries to spin out of a tackle and can't quite get away. Picks up only a yard, but 6 interceptions on the season now for Patak. Frossel picking off his first one. Now Johnny Reno with a fumble, turning the ball over. I think it's going to be one of them nights, Gerald.
Yeah, I don't want it to be one of them nights. We'll start singing before long.
We will. Maybe even at a discount. We'll see. As that one is handed off as well. James Stewart with the carry. 3rd down and 5. Three wide receiver set on 3rd and 5. Going to go back down to Scott, and she can convert. Baloo Scott getting it done, and that's the sort of thing that we're going to need to see more of tonight.
Yeah, look, and that's it. Look, and we know the difference that she can make, right? Like, actually, when she was there before, making all kind of good plays when she was actually on the team, when they had their really good seasons, not that long ago because they're better, obviously better with her than without her.
Yes.
Of course, but I do think what's going to come into play is, but they don't have another quality back to be behind her on the depth chart. I think that's where they may struggle.
Well, because here is the backup that you spoke of, Stewart getting another carry, picking up 3 yards. But yeah, it's something that in this league especially, you definitely need two, not only just quality backs, you need two good ones, and Blue Scott, definitely a good back.
I mean, you guys won a championship with two really good backs.
You need two. You need a pair. We'll see if maybe they can get Dean Jackson going in the run game as well from the fullback position. Patak under pressure, throws and gets that one away. Almost hauled in. Ryan Arlovsky, the intended target, but the pass is broken up, brings up a 3rd down and long. Pass broken up by Nicholas Frossel, who got the pick on the first drive.
Yeah, and I do think that was a straight panic throw by Patak, right? Coming and dropping back. And then putting his, trying to get the ball out enough time so he won't get hit. But I mean, it's a 3rd and long. They got to do something to convert this here.
4 wide receiver set. Patak under pressure again, throws and almost connects, but that one's broken up as well. T. DeQueen, the often reliable T. DeQueen, had the ball in her hands and it was knocked out.
And that's uncharacteristic of T, right? Typically, she pulls that in, and she's been an extremely reliable receiver in all of her, time. Even with the Legend, when she played for the Legend, right? She was very, very reliable there. Now she decided to, not quite sure why, to follow Dougie Day, who was, for some reason, our tour manager.
He is our tour manager. But the weird part about that was, though, he just kind of nominated himself. We didn't hire him. All of a sudden, we formed a band, and about 2 minutes later, we had a tour manager. We didn't even ask for one. He was just, just there.
We need what we can get.
Yeah, it's true. Beggars can't be choosers. So, I'm punted away by Phillip to Field. Minnesota gets their second opportunity at it. They only had a 1-play drive where they fumbled it away to start the game. Reno is now sacked on his second possession as the corner blitz, Meliodas Manning flying in, getting the sack, tackle for loss, 4 yards.
Yeah, and it was a perfect blitz right there. He kind of snuck in right there, being a little bit smaller, but he's actually quick getting there and bringing down Johnny Reno. And that's how you want to start, a first down right here. Put him in a second long situation. And I'm still we've seen 2 plays from Minnesota here, and we haven't seen any runs from a quality back like Colin Hart.
No, you're going to see Reno run again. He fumbled the last time, gets hit, tries to fight for the first down, and gets a 13-yard pickup on that one. 3rd down and 1. Maybe now you hand it off to Colin Hart, who was my offensive player spotlight last week, Gerald.
Yeah, and look, and if you think this is the way that you are going to win this game by relying on Johnny Reno to scramble out of the pocket and do it, I just don't think it's going to happen. We've seen what happened on the very first drive. It just didn't go to success. So I would give it to the people you pay to run the ball.
3rd down and 1. We'll see what they do. Reno does indeed hand it off. Hart bottled up behind the line and does not get there. A great defensive stop by Manning again. 4th down and inches. And Minnesota's second drive will come away with no points.
Melodious Manning. They're going to challenge it, but I think it's a bad challenge.
It's a waste of a challenge and timeout here. I could be wrong, but let's take a retroactive look at the play. Presented by Retroid. Get your console to play SFL on the go at GoRetroid.com. It's difficult from that angle, Gerald, but watching from the broadcast camera, here you go. The ball is in his right hand. I don't think it gets near that line to gain before his knee is down. Sometimes the refs surprise us. And the call on the field will stand, and Minnesota will now lose a timeout, and they're still going to have to punt unless they go for it. They're near midfield. They might want to. We'll see what they decide to do here.
I just can't.
Malillo's out there.
It was a very good play by Melodious Manning, but I'm just man, it's just that's something there. You just need to. You got to convert that right there. You're down a challenge.
Low snap, too, yeah.
So early in the game.
Good punt will come down at the 5, go right to the goal line, and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So Chicago will start their third drive of the ball game now from their own 20. First drive only was a couple plays long. They handed the ball off and then threw an interception. Immediately got that one back after a Johnny Reno fumble, but then after 7 plays, 18 yards, they had a couple things that were looking good. Still having trouble completing passes. Had to punt it away. And great defensive look from the Mike O'Neill defense. Gets them the ball back again, and they'll go back down to Baloo Scott on this one. She'll pick up 3 on the first play of the drive.
Yeah, and this is where it, I think we're probably going to beat a dead horse all game talking about it. But when you have Baloo Scott, and then if she comes out of the game, you don't really have a quality back there, and it's relying almost solely. Oh my God!
Patak smothered. Yeah, and guess who? Matthew Alvarado. Speaking of people that are playing at an all-star level, like we were talking about at the in the pregame show, Matthew Alvarado is just absolutely a monster on defense for the Minnesota Legend. He played for the Mexico City Aztecs back in the day and then left to go to Minnesota. I actually tried to convince him to come back. That's the kind of player that he is. Gets the sack there. Patak throws one-handed catch by Arlovsky, and he gets the first down.
That's the thing. Look, and they're coming. And they needed that after getting sacked right there, 3rd and long. They have to do something right there, and being able to, throw that pass down there is actually, it looks like T come out there with the one-handed catch, right? She didn't like us much talking about her dropping that pass before, but she comes down and brings it in, and get some actually a new set of downs. So look, and we need more things like that from Chicago to be able to do, but. I mean, the way the season's gone so far, when you got 38%, pass completions, it just seems like it's not very good. Look at this.
Scott bounces off of Alvarado, but reinforcements sitting there waiting. David Leathers gets the tackle. T. DeQueen only had 2 catches last week in their loss to Los Angeles. That game was a 31-13 loss for Chicago. Has one here. Attack sacked again. Just standing in the pocket waiting for something to develop, but Mark Mello wasn't going to wait any longer. 3rd and 15 after that loss of 5.
Yeah, watch this replay. You see a Meerkat come from one side, and then you got Mark Mello come from the other side right there. It was just inescapable. It almost looks like sometimes that they have offensive line problems. It seems like in Chicago right now. They have severe pressure being put on Patak.
Jackie Jones and Jess Fullerton Galarza are the left and right tackles here in Chicago. That pass incomplete as it bounces out of the hands of Arlovsky. Robin Mono is the left guard, but that's all the offensive line reinforcements that they have that are noteworthy, as another Chicago drive will result in a Philip DeField punt.
We haven't really seen a whole lot of, right? It's like, I remember at one time, it wasn't that long ago, when Paulie Truth was such a force to be reckoned with at the tight end position.
Yes.
And it's even all of last season, it almost seemed like he has gotten forgotten by the entire league because he's just not targeted or whatever. I don't know if it's a scheme thing or whatever they're doing, because like whenever they, he was on top of his game, playing, before they moved from Seattle as a nemesis, I don't know if you call it whatever. But
what is the plural of nemesis?
But like when he was playing for them, he was such a force to be reckoned with, and I just feel like they've lost themselves offensively on what they want to be.
All-star from season 21. Season 22 hasn't gotten back in it. Reno's going to run again, hit again, and tackled after an 8-yard gain, but. We saw that he fumbled on that opening drive. It's always a risk when your quarterback runs. I highlighted Jordan Sipe from Mexico City as my offensive player of the week for doing that exact thing, for running with the ball and getting those first downs. But it's always, scary as a coach. Going down to Colin Hart. He hasn't gotten anything going yet, only his 2nd carry of the ball game, and that one goes for actually a loss of 1 they'll spot him with. And, now he's got negative yards on the day.
Defenses today in this game are playing pretty darn good right now.
They're down in 3.
This is where they usually strive.
Pitch it up to Hart, hit behind the line and tackled. They'll spot him with a 1-yard gain, but brought down on the play by Alex Bond. And that'll bring another Minnesota drive to a halt. So less than 3 minutes to go here in quarter number 1, and still no scoring by either of these squads.
Right, and they get close to midfield and end up punting and everything else. And this is the second time Minnesota gets, near midfield, or around midfield, and ends up having to, to punt it away. I just don't know, like, none of these things. What is this? Is that a...
Wow, clipping on a touchback.
What?
Listen, I think there's just a little black rain cloud over Chicago. Let's see if we get another look at it. We're not going to, but wow, on a touchback you get called. But you know what? They're going to spot it at the 20 anyway. They're going to throw him a bone.
It was weird. It was declined. Like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, Chicago declined the penalty. It was against Minnesota.
Why would you decline it?
I don't know, man. Blue Sky's going to run the ball.
They just made bad decisions all season long. They're 0-3. You can't win making bad decisions. That was bad. I figure, hey, look, if you accept it, does it actually push them back or what? Like, I mean, make them re-kick it. It's 15 yards, I'm assuming. I mean, you got to kick it again? I don't know, man. Poor decision making. Oh, my God.
Wow, Patak fumbles the ball. Recovered by Chicago. Jess Fullerton-Galarza picks up the ball and runs with it for -8 before being tackled. We get our first look at the team stats, and I mean, neither of these teams are doing anything yet, Gerald. Minnesota has no first downs. I'm honestly surprised that Chicago has positive yards.
Stephon Ford just come in there like he just, I don't know, man. 3rd and 17, and look, and the thing that just they have such talent on this Chicago team. I don't understand.
Patak completes a pass well short of the line to gain, but just tries to pick up some yardage as he'll add 11 on right there. 4th down and 6, and we'll see DeField once again to punt. One of these teams has got to get something going here.
Yeah, it's just right now for both teams. I know it's only the first quarter, but offensively, they're just not looking very good at all. I mean, the main running game is coming from
the quarterback.
The quarterback.
And it's not working.
No, and it's not. It's just I mean, one of them had a fumble there, and Ty Patak can't stay off the dirt because he's getting thrown into the ground by the opposing defense because his offensive line is struggling to block or even notice what blitz packet. I mean, they're a little bit confused. And here after a minute, I mean, you get a short break between quarters, and I do think they need to try and address something. I mean, should be trying to address something on the sideline right now when the defense is out there.
Johnny Reno trying to get the first down for Minnesota tonight, and he does. Jay Taylor gets the catch. Johnny Reno is your quarterback. Isaac Knox and Colin Hart are the halfbacks. Robert Henson Jr. is the fullback. Queeg Mam, Deezer Powell, Jay Taylor, and E.J. Minson are the wide receivers. Jason France, the Moose, is at tight end. Brookie Burr, Axel Raven, Carly Forge, Griffin King, and Ruthie Raven on the offensive line. 1st down and 10 for Minnesota from Chicago's 40.
Let's see if it's going to stall right here. They got about the furthest they could have gotten so far. That's what you want right there.
Yeah, Colin Hart finally bursts one through. It's only his 4th carry now of the ball game, but finally one that gives him positive yardage and quite a bit of positive yardage. Picks up 17 on the play.
And the blocking was quite amazing right here, right? You get a hat on a hat, and just, I mean, once you get Colin Hart right beyond the line of scrimmage, he reaches that second level, he can do a lot of damage. And you've seen right there, you give him the necessary blocks, and he gets out there and he gets to that second level, and he's able to take off a chunk more.
1st down and 10 outside the red zone. This is where they started their first possession, Gerald, after they got the interception. And this is where it was promptly fumbled away. So Reno wanted to be careful as pressure on its way.
He was wide open.
Yeah, saw a wide open target and just absolutely overthrew him. E.J. Minson was approaching the end zone. Couldn't quite get there. That's the first quarter. That one's in the books. Still 3 to go. No score in this one. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Mike Dykes. He's Gerald Smith, Justin Reside, Eddie Gage on stats, Cameron Irvine on production, Johnny Reno on the field. From the 21, trips down to the bottom. Single receiver up top. Reno under pressure, hit by two guys and brought down for the sack. Doug Day getting in the backfield and getting the sack. 3rd and 16.
Well, the tour manager comes in there and actually just kind of tag teams him with a guy, and a guy bounced off of him, and Doug Day just doesn't waste the opportunity and throws him to the ground.
The tour manager. You're not wrong.
No.
3rd down and 16. Reno rolls out left, throws over the middle, complete and short of the sticks. Deezer Powell gets the catch 2 yards shy of the line to gain, and Mickey Melillo trotting out onto the field for a field goal.
And this was, considering all the drives that we've seen so far, this is an extremely successful drive where it could potentially result in the points, as Double M7 brings his leg onto the field.
Double M7 does indeed, as he's 3 of 4 on the season. Missed his first field goal of the season, made the other 3 since then, and hooks that one in for the first points of the ball game. Minnesota on top after a 6-play, 40-yard drive. Results in 3 points.
Somebody needed to do something, and it took, just over a quarter to get it done. But, could this be a start of something to force, Chicago to look a little bit different? And we're going to find out if offensively, if they try to fill and fix their offensive line holes and struggles and whatever they're losing, because I do think they have a blocking scheme issue, because they're just not protecting type attack at all.
John Turn, as he gets it up to the Chicago 35-yard line, and that's the sort of thing that Chicago's going to need. We talk about teams playing well in all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, and of course special teams. Fullerton getting involved on the special teams game there with a nice return. You'll take points wherever you can get them. See if maybe they can get something going on that side of the ball too.
Yeah, look, and the way you started the field position right here, the special team unit has actually set your offense up for success, right? Because I do believe across the league, the average starting position is somewhere between, 20-25, and you're already 10 yards past that already.
Blue Scott, 7 rushing attempts now for 18 yards. Not the greatest average. She's going to need to continue to try to add on to that total. Type Attack is the quarterback. Blue Scott is the halfback. Dean Jackson at fullback. Ryan Arlovsky, Gus Scott, T. DeQueen, Lyric Da Vinci, and John Fullerton at wide receiver. And Paulie Truth, allegedly, at tight end.
He's
Where is he?
This is a season 22 All-Star. It just shows you, he was that good and amazing. It was a game changer.
Yeah.
And it seems like...
there's a game changer too, Gerald.
Oh, 100%.
Matthew Alvarado is just an absolute monster.
And these are the downs that you would find a guy. Make sure Paulie Truth is out on the field and have him somewhere in the vicinity to bring down a ball.
Gus Scott in motion. Patak to throw, 3rd down and 8. Patak trying to run it himself. Can't break through and is sacked once again. Mark Mello gets his 2nd on the night.
And Ty Patak is among, one of the most sacked quarterbacks throughout the league. And it probably shows that they have breakdowns and everything else. And I think right here, he could have stayed in the pocket and actually he could have stepped up in the pocket. Instead, probably because he's been hit quite often, not only in this game, but in the weeks prior, that he's not comfortable back there sitting and letting those routes by the wide receivers mature and be able to find somebody open. He just feel like he doesn't have enough time.
Punt drops down to the 15-yard line, returned up to the 25-yard line. Decent return by E.J. Minson. We'll see what Minnesota can do on this drive. They were able to get 3 points on their last possession and currently lead this one 3-0. Over under in this game 35.5. Gerald, we're almost started to get
we're just not look unless
just getting started here in Minnesota.
Unless Minnesota turns it on, it's just the Chicago offense, man. They just look out of sorts.
And this is an offense for Chicago that historically has put up points. They've been good in the past. You mentioned, their time, down as Seattle, and they've had teams that have had decent offensive output. You look back to season 22, they were 11th in points per game. On offense. Just this season dead last season near the bottom. Minnesota, on the other hand, 2 seasons in a row, they ended with the 3rd best scoring offense. And this season so far, they're near the bottom as well. These teams are 23rd and 25th in points per game scored. Meanwhile, Chicago, like I said, 11th in scoring in season 22. How about 3rd best for Chicago back in season 21?
And that was part of the first time they actually made the playoffs that season, and then they returned the very next season as well.
Reno to throw into coverage, and that one's incomplete. And I think we have another punt fest on our hands.
Yeah, it's good defenses, shall I say? But
yes.
But in Chicago's case, their offense is just bad.
Yes.
I mean, like I said, look, it has been all season. And Minnesota isn't looking like what they have now. Look, credit to Chicago's defense, I feel like, right? Because I feel like Minnesota does want to turn back the clock and get back to what they used to do on offense. Just that Chicago, it has something for them.
Nothing going for Chicago on special teams there as Minnesota's defense trots back out onto the field. I've mentioned him a few times, Gerald. Matthew Alvarado, as we get an updated look at the team stats. Chicago still just not getting anything going, and Minnesota
four first downs for both teams. It's just not good.
Yeah, total. It's not it. Matthew Alvarado on defense, playing at an all-star level, came into the night with 10 tackles for a loss, is 2nd best in the league. Already has 1 in this game, and right on cue gets the tackle there after a gain of 9.9 from Baloo Scott.
Yeah, and he's actually one of those guys, right? And you actually seen him firsthand, right? And when with his time in Mexico City, and he's only gotten better since then, right? One of those linebackers that can just make plays.
Trying to surge through the line to gain is Stewart. Allegedly got there. I'm not 100% convinced that he did. We'll see if the coach agrees with me or not, but
I don't think he got it either. Alvarado just went in there and just blew it up.
No flag thrown. The first down stands. Patak to throw up top, and that one nearly goes to the house the other way. Oh, dangerous pass. T to Queen, the intended target, but that was almost a house call for Leathers.
David Leathers undercut it. That could have been it could have flipped it. Look, even in this game at 3 points, it seems like this could win this game, but that could have definitely flipped it even more in their favor had he picked that off. He was looking at end zone.
2nd down and 10 as Arlovsky comes in motion down to the bottom to join 2 other receivers. Single back set. Patak to throw, pressure on its way into hat trick of sacks is complete already midway through the 2nd quarter. Mark Mello with his 3rd on the night.
Yeah, and Mark Mello, right? And they're using Mark Mello on the edge, right, is standing up, right off the edge, kind of taking his hand out of the dirt, and he comes across, and it's almost like the left tackle just can't do anything to cover him, right? You have Jess Fullerton, Galarza just completely ignored him off the edge.
3rd down and 13. Patak to throw under pressure again, and down he goes. Max Knight looks like he was the first one there. That's a big man. He was joined with Angela Meerkat, who brought him down, and that is going to be another Chicago drive that ends in a punt.
And it's just like they have such protection issues, and it wasn't just Max Knight. It was like 3 other people, like right there, right? You even had coming off, the edge right there. You had some sort of a backup that was on the field as well, kind of coming in and doing. I mean, when you're pulling guys off the bench to throw in there to rush, and they're actually getting to the quarterback, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, you talked about the offensive line woes. That one's going to bounce into the end zone for the touchback. Good attempt. But their offensive line, they have a couple of rookies on the offensive line in Jackie Jones and Robin Mono. Jess Fullerton Galarza, the only returning offensive lineman from last season, and it's only 2nd season in the league, so still some work to be done on that offensive line, and unfortunately for Patak, he's paying the price in that one, especially when you're going up against a defense like Minnesota's. Colin Hart picks up 7. and I know he's on the bench right now, but Mark Mello has already made such an impact in this game with 3 sacks, already playing at an all-star level. He's leading in all-star voting for the defensive end position and came into tonight with only 2 sacks. He's more than doubled that at 5 now. He's going to be solidifying that position for a little bit. This one goes down to Isaac Knox as he gets his second look of the ball game. Picks up a couple yards there, sets up Minnesota with a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, look, and I'm actually looking. I know the offense of Chicago's on the time, but I'm trying to figure out where they invested their money. Right? It seems like they have 5 wide receivers. They lack in the offensive line. They don't have a quality backup to the running back right now, and I just think it shows that they may have invested in an area of their offense that just doesn't suit what they actually need. I do think that maybe philosophy-wise on offense, they're trying to force something that's just not there.
Yeah.
Right, and everything. So I just think that maybe look, they're gonna have to deal with what they got this season, but they're gonna have to it's just not looking good for them right now. Look, and for them to only score 1 touchdown to this point in the season, it's not very good, right? Yeah. So a lot of teams scored multiple touchdowns. Look, I can say for myself in Louisiana, right? When we had my team, like, hey, we struggled to score touchdowns with the worst of them, right? Yes. But we actually at this point in the season, we probably had more touchdowns than that, and they're just not looking very good. Look at this.
Minnesota, meanwhile, getting things done. Jay Taylor with a catch and a 1st down.
And it was just way to get physical right there and cut that route short and be able to receive that ball from your quarterback like that. So, look, if I do think right here, Chicago is going to have to make defensively a play and put up points themselves or put them in a position to score a touchdown really close, because right now it just looks like it's 3-0, right? It's not out of the realm possibility that the game could change, but Minnesota just looks so relaxed. They don't even have a sense of urgency. They look like they don't have no worries. They're a little more relaxed. And Chicago looks a bit panicky. Even their defensive alignment, right? Look, I know it's working right now, but it just doesn't look very, very good. They just look a little bit chaotic on both sides of the ball.
Another 1st down picked up by Isaac Knox here at Trick Jerseys Field at Northwoods Stadium. As we hit the 2-minute warning, Trick Jerseys is a veteran-owned Minnesota-based custom apparel company specializing in sportswear, headwear, and promotional products. They can help you create a strong brand that your fans will love. Let's work together. Visit trickjerseys.com. Trick Jerseys, creators of awesome. Colin Hart. Speaking of creators of awesome, Colin Hart's been getting it done a long time. Number 2 in the league in carries, in yards, and touchdowns all time behind BDG Hollywood, and dangerously close to getting that number 1 spot in touchdowns, Gerald.
Yeah, and he's done it for an extremely long time. I do think that everything that he's done it in lesser time than what BDG has. Oh my God.
Colin Hart, he has been in the season now, or been in the league now, for 14 seasons. He's been around a long time, but came into tonight's game with 17,229 yards on his career, added another 47 to that total so far. 2 touchdowns behind the leader, BDG Hollywood, and as I'm talking good about him, Gerald, he can't pick up the 2 yards for the 1st down, and a timeout called probably by Chicago, I believe, to try to conserve some time, and they're going to try a long field goal here.
Oh, well, how long is this one?
We can only guess. Kick is on its way, and it is no good. Falls short. It kicked a long field goal, and it did not have the range.
Well, double M7 needed a little bit more on it. How much he missed it by was
country
yards short. Yes. It wasn't even close.
He missed it by more yards than he is tall.
I wouldn't disagree.
It's not nice.
Well, look, it looks like he was short by, maybe 3 yards. It's 3 feet in a yard, so it's 9 feet. He's not 9 feet tall.
Patak throws up top, and that one is Incomplete. He's trying to get that one out to Pauly Truth. So Pauly Truth makes a sighting, an appearance, if you will, and is finally targeted. But it's incomplete. Second down and 10, 58 seconds to go here in the first half. And even after all this, Chicago still has the opportunity to take the lead before the first half.
Yeah, and they still they're giving themselves a chance, right, to do something here. They just got to make it happen. Look at this.
Oh, more pressure. Gets the ball away. That one could have been a nice big gain to Arlovsky, but he just can't seem to connect it. It's another target Arlovsky's way. Still no receptions on that.
They're gonna get type attack like murdered because they had an edge rusher on the opposite end. And Angela Meerkat coming right at type attack, and he had to get rid of it. I mean, it was a ball. I think he could have made that throw and completed it, but when you got a defensive end coming right in your face, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do.
Third down and 10 now from the 39-yard line. Patak rolls out right, has time, throws single coverage, and that one is incomplete. Gus Scott, the intended target. And a quick 3-and-out. They'll have to punt away from this far out.
Yeah, I feel like in those situations, too, like your receivers have got to help you out. I mean, it's right there. You have positioning over the DB. You have to be able to pull that in and help your team out. But right now, I mean, they're just not doing it.
Punt is away. It's going to drop down at about the 9-yard line. Vincent looked a little confused as that ball was coming down. I was hoping that he was waiting for it to actually land in his hands.
I think he was making sure his neck bulge was in.
He's just kind of dancing. Look at him. He's like,
I can't see my neck bulge, coach. Is it in?
Just trying to get it like reorchestrated there. Catches it at the last second.
Coach had to say, focus, man, focus.
First down and 10. From their own 20, only 2 timeouts remaining for Minnesota. They lost one on a challenge much earlier on in the ball game. See what they do here. They're going to start with a pitch up top to Colin Hart, who has some blockers, makes a move, picks up 6, but Minnesota will be content to let the clock continue to roll.
Yeah, and this is good for Chicago as well, right? Everything kind of gets. They're going to go to halftime, take a look at it, try and fix some of those, offensive line schemes, right? Because they're just not picking up where the blitzes and everything else are coming from. And, I mean, not even blitzes. They're just completely missing blocks right off the edge. And, and just go back there, watch some of the film that you actually, from the first half. You're able to see what Minnesota's, defensive front is doing to your offensive line, what the confusion is, and then try to correct it. There's a whole nother half of football, and it's only a 3-0 game.
It is. After all this, it's still a very close ball game here. Minnesota only able to score 3 points in the first half. Mickey Malillo with a missed field goal. Just not a lot of success on offense for either of these teams as we head to the halftime stats and highlights. Your thoughts so far in the first half of action?
It's not much. Look at type attack, 2 for 10.
Yeah.
On the stuff, and it just seems like that's just the way it's going, right? He's got 20% passing on the day. You can't win like that. You have Blue Sky. Try and use her as best you can, which I do feel like they are. But Minnesota, I do feel like has the upper hand, and these defenses are doing what they can. And Minnesota coming in with 6 sacks in the half. Look at Mark Muller with 3 himself, so they're actually doing good things on defense on both sides, right? To keeping each team in the game. It's only a 3-0 game. It's still anyone's game, but the offense is looking pretty stagnant.
See what they can do as the second half gets started. But first, let's take a quick halftime break presented by Brakes GPT.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
An Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
Break into the world of sports memorabilia collecting with Brakes GPT, featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and more. Brakes GPT offers you a shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community of collectors on our Breaks GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner on our site, breaksgpt.com. Minton returns the ball out to the 34-yard line, and we've got a game update from SFL HQ. Cameron Irvine, take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Los Angeles, D.C. tonight. The D.C. Dragons losing Jason Strongbow this week, and L.A. takes advantage on that play. Sully Richardson to LZ Pryor ties the game at 7. They're still tied at 7 as they near the end of the first half. Back to you in Minnesota.
Thank you, Cam. Los Angeles getting it done, Gerald.
There's some touchdowns.
Yeah.
Something we haven't had in
the whole night. We'll see if we get some here in the second half.
Oh, that's what they needed.
In Chicago. Recovers it. They'll get the ball to Minnesota 32-yard line. We talked about how these teams are, well, Chicago in particular is going to need to play well on all three phases of the game to possibly get a win, and that ball punched out right there, and that will get them the ball back here early in the third quarter. Alex Bond with the forced fumble.
Yeah, the veteran comes in there and says, hey, we got to make plays and everything else. We got to make a somewhat of an impact early on in this half and try to take a little bit of control back of this game and get ourselves back in. And what they do it right there on the very first play from scrimmage for the Legend. And now Chicago's got it, and they're actually kind of fringe field goal range right now.
Patak, 2 of 10 here in the first half, comes out and throws. That one is immediately incomplete, and we've been seeing it all night long. These Minnesota defenders draped all over the receivers, and it seems like as soon as the ball gets there, it's immediately knocked free.
Look, and I know Lyric Da Vinci pretty well from his time actually in Louisiana and being able to do stuff. He is typically a sure-handed type of wide receiver, a former tight end who I think is probably some of the best pass catchers, and good to just change him into wide receivers, and that's uncharacteristic of him to drop the ball. So many drops by the Chicago offense in this game so far.
Attack under pressure. 4 sacks for Mark Mello. We're getting to the point, Gerald, where I'm going to have to look up the all-time sacks in a game for a single player.
He's just doing. He's coming right off the edge, and they don't have anything for it. It's either they got to do something with the left tackle right there that's just not. It's just not even paying attention to him right off the edge, and this very likely took him out of like field goal range right here. And what are we going to expect right here?
Patak's going to throw. I mean, he's going to try to throw.
Yeah, no, but he's under so much pressure.
No rushes yet for Patak. We'll see if he gets something going here. He's going to throw the ball, and that one's incomplete. Being back at the 34-yard line,
wow.
We'll see if they even try a field goal.
Wow.
And
I think they're out of field goal range, and that's the thing. It's just, just that sack right there just took them out of field goal range. You're at the 32-yard line, some well within field goal range, in my opinion, and you take the sack, and then you get, I don't say a crappy punt. We're going to see if it's going to bounce, but that's just not very good either. Yeah, it's not very good.
Wow, that's...
What is going on?
About a 14-yard punt, Gerald.
What is going on in Chicago? I can't understand. They just
can't seem to get it together right now.
Man, this is like... This is going to sound bad, but I say it. A team in the league right now with very few members on their roster right now in Oklahoma City, right, which we say might be one of the worst teams in the league. Chicago, it's not doing what they're doing right now. Like
they've got a good roster.
Yeah, they do, but I'm like, it's just his scheme, his philosophy. I don't know what it is, because it wasn't that long ago they were really, really good. And they move, right? And they move from Seattle to Chicago, and just something changed. I don't know if it's something in the water or what, or like the gloominess of the Pacific Northwest. I don't know.
Now you're grasping at straws. Isaac Knox picks up the first down. The Minnesota offense hasn't looked a whole lot better. You saw the stats on the screen, the team stats comparison. The third down conversion rate. Minnesota's offense obviously doing quite a bit more than Chicago's, but it hasn't resulted in points. We got 3 points on the board so far in this one.
Yeah, look, it's the Chicago defense is holding pretty good right now, right? So it's kind of keeping them in the game. They made a play. The offense just couldn't put anything together to kind of get them some points on the board. But it's, defensively, I don't think it's their problem. And Minnesota don't look like, what we've seen Minnesota that they can be. And we know what Chicago can be if they can kind of, put that all back together. But Minnesota doesn't look very crisp either.
That pass is complete over the middle, getting the Moose involved. Jason France with his first catch of the ball game. Picks up 9.9. Third and inches coming up. Colin Hart in the backfield looking fresh.
Yeah, and this is where he kind of earned a lot of his money, right? Just pounding a rock. Way back in the Sioux Falls days, he did it with us in Louisiana as well, and come here and just can continue to do the same. But this is typically a shoo-in right here. I won't say it, especially the way Chicago defense has been playing.
Chicago's defense has been doing good. They hit him at the line of scrimmage. He does pick up enough to pick up the first down, but even Colin Hart's long on the day, 17 yards, and he's only got 65 yards total. So, on 15 carries, it's averaging about 4 yards per carry thanks to that long one. But, and neither team really finding answers so far in this one. Reno rolls out. He's going to run once again.
Oh, he got that.
Yeah,
Get down.
Yeah, he won first down. Extends his arm right there past the line to gain. Sets the ball down, and you can see his rushing total right there, 39 yards.
He's actually leading both teams.
He's second. He's still behind Colin Hart, but not by much.
It's just, man. I just feel like if Minnesota keeps on this trajectory that they're actually going here, the way the game flow is going, they're just gonna just.
Oh,
look at it.
Reno brought down. Second time we've seen that Melodious Manning sack off a blitz. Works good there. 2nd and 15.
Yeah, he just come in there. Look, and he was untouched, kind of a blitzing from the safety position right there, and coming in and just throwing a man down. It was a very, very well executed. It's where they need like a pick or a pick six.
Like we've said, all things aside, it's a 3-point ball game.
I know.
Still anyone's ball game. Reno
Sack.
under pressure again. Somehow avoids the sack and completes it. Downfield, Deezer Powell into the end zone for the touchdown.
I don't know how the Chicago defender missed that sack. I even called it way prematurely. Hangs in there in the pocket and was able to get Deezer Powell to get some separation, and he actually gets a touchdown. I mean, this could be like the nail in the coffin right now.
Already.
And it's not even midway through the third.
That's our breakaway play of the game, brought to you by Breaks GPT, sports memorabilia breakers and collectors. You never know whose autographed helmet or jersey you might hit. Check them out at breaksgpt.com. 48-yard touchdown reception, an 8-play, 81-yard drive, taking almost 3 minutes off the clock. And that's got to just be, so insanely frustrating for Chicago as they've watched their offense struggle. They've watched their defense keep them in the game. They almost got back-to-back sacks on Reno, but somehow the reigning MVP stays on his feet, throws a dart to Deezer Powell, gets the touchdown. The defender went for the pick and missed, and sometimes that just spells disaster for you. Now down 10-0 here, 6 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, look, and I really do think that they have protection issues, right? Like what they got? They got 6 sacks, already right now, 6 or 7 sacks on type attack already. They just got protection issues.
Attack up top, completes a pass to T. DeQueen and gets the first down.
If they mount some sort of a comeback after just looking,
do it,
bad,
do it,
right? Like it's going to be something good. Look, they're still hanging in there. They're still trying to make some things happen, but
nice soft pass to DeQueen right between 2 defenders.
And you know what they had there? They actually had good protection on that one. You know what I mean? Like they're not having a free rusher come in there and they're able to do it, but it's. Whenever they're just coming right off the edge, and I can see right up top. There's a guy right now in Slim Shady. He's got his hand on the ground. He might want to come off the edge.
Patak is going to need an ice bath after this one. Been sacked 5 times. already in this game. Still a quarter and a half to go. Pressure on its way again. Patak up top, and T to Queen catches back-to-back passes and crosses midfield, gets it into Minnesota territory, and with any luck for Chicago, they're finally starting to get something going here.
Yeah, and again, guess what? They had really, really good protection right there, right? And T, shows that, hey, look, I still got them soft hands, to be able to turn around and just grab that ball out the air and, pirouette like those ladies are just known for doing, man. Doing a little spin move, a little bit more agile than what, a guy could be, and she pulls it out of the air.
An oak tree is more agile than I am, I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
I don't bend.
Yeah,
at all. Attack down to the bottom. And his receivers got to help him out. Lyric Da Vinci, the intended target. And I don't know if the passes are just coming at them earlier than they're expecting, but like the pass got to Da Vinci. Da Vinci wasn't ready for the ball.
And that's what they're paid to do is catch.
Yeah, be ready. Oh wow.
Man, this is
my goodness. 5 sacks for Mark Mello.
It's wow. He's dominating the actual game right now and coming right off the edge and they're just missing him for some reason. I don't know what it is. I mean, he's a very, very large person right off the edge. Mark Mello, 6'6", 295, and he's just coming right off the edge. I mean, you can't miss him.
Patak to throw here. Deep down the left side. That one is caught once again. This time, Da Vinci was ready for it, Gerald. He gets the catch and converts a big 3rd and long.
It's his first catch of the game right now. And look at Ty Patak. I mean, he's not his numbers look, and this is the thing. I know his numbers look bad in terms of quarterback rating, but his receivers have not helped him out so far this game. They're starting to kind of pick up the pace a little bit and realize that, hey, look, man, we got to bring these balls in because we have an opportunity. Again.
Well, that's 6. He's on his way. He's on his way to potentially breaking the all-time sack record. Back in season 11, Easy Temple. Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time, man.
Wow.
Remember Easy Temple?
I do remember.
8.5 sacks in a game. It was the Indianapolis Red Devils versus the St. Louis Gladiators. Oh, that was nearly picked off on the pitch. Baloo Scott can only get back to the line of scrimmage. That would have just been like, all right, what else can you do? Six sacks so far for Mark Mello. 2.5 sacks away from tying the all-time record.
Look at this rate. Oh man, and they spread it out, and Melo's going to come off the edge again.
At the top of that set, on his way, blocked down to the ground, tipped and almost caught off the bounce. But Gus Scott can't haul it in.
He's got to catch.
Well, the defender, as soon as it was tipped, the defender wisely just tackled him to the ground. Didn't even give him an opportunity. But they are in field goal range. Topher Kiefer from 34 yards out. Kiefer, perfect 5 of 5 on the season. Well within his range. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way. It is true. It is good. The O has got to go. 10-3 your score right now here in Minnesota. The legend in the lead.
Man, they got it. They just the defense is doing the held as long as they could, right? They're doing a good job holding them to 10 points so far, the Chicago defense. But their offense, look, is starting to find somewhat of a rhythm. And if their defense can hold true, I mean, look, can we expect, Chicago to go down and actually, put up their second touchdown of the season on the board to potentially tie this game up?
E.J. Minson returns this one up to the 31-yard line, and that is where Minnesota will take back over. On offense, the 2025 SFL convention kicks off the league's 25th anniversary season, July 10th to the 14th. Join SFL Nation at the rooftop pool of our host hotel, the Hyatt Regency, looking out into Baltimore's Inner Harbor. You can reserve your room now at the special group rate at simfl.net. It's going to be the best convention of all time, Gerald. It's a great location, great venue. Got a lot of great activities planned. Every year it gets a little bit better. Can't wait for this one to get going. We've even got a couple of surprises we haven't even announced yet. The Moose gets the catch and gets up to midfield.
They didn't need that.
No,
they did not
Larry
need that.
Wiggum is injured, and I guess fortunately for the Chicago Warriors, Wiggum is one of the backups at the safety position. Gets knocked out of the game for now.
Well, I think that was more like, hey, man, get in there and stand in front of the moose.
yeah.
Your job is to get knocked out, it doesn't matter.
You are the sacrificial Wiggum. And sacrificed Wiggum was. First down and 10 from the 47-yard line. Chicago's defense could come up huge here and try to get some sort of turnover, give their offense another chance. Minnesota's got other plans. They connected on back-to-back plays to Jason France. The Moose gets another first down.
Yeah, and Minnesota looks like they're just kind of starting to find that extra groove, and kind of kicked it into another gear. It seems like so far on this thing right here. Yeah, so I mean, if they get another score, the way we've seen Chicago struggle to move the ball, I think they could. I said that when it was 10-0, of course, but I mean, and now it's a one-score game. But they got to make some plays.
Reno down to the bottom, connects with Powell. Gets another pass completion, and Reno really hasn't had to do a whole lot through the air, Gerald. It's only his 7th completed pass attempt. He's got over 100 yards. Second down and inches from the 25. Ball is handed off to Colin Hart. He picks up the first down. Right outside the red zone, 305 Dade County in the chat says, what game is this? Looks good. This is the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. Plays on a modified, customized game. 4K23 is what we call it. Here in the Simulation Football League, you can learn more about the league, join our Discord server, and get involved yourself by visiting our website, simfl.net. You'll see the join Discord link right there. Isaac Knox gets the first down. We've got the minor league going on right now, Gerald. We've got the Simulation Football League right here. We've got the UFL starting up here in just a few weeks' time. Excited to get it all going.
Yeah, it's something interesting, right? In the simulation field, right? You got all your stuff in one stop shop type area. It's
just need that Tecmo League that you want to get going.
Oh man.
Hey, Virtual Football Network. Virtual football's virtual football, my friend.
I gotta work on
Dial it up. Reno pitches to Hart, hit behind the line of scrimmage and tackled for a loss. Great defensive stop there as Chicago right now doing everything that they can to try to keep this a one-score ball game. Minnesota well within field goal range. Final minute of the third quarter as you see Colin Hart's updated stat line.
Yeah, if I'm actually Minnesota, I'm not putting the ball in any kind of a danger.
Reno.
Oh, and that was it.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. That was almost the commentator curse of the year is Game Magic should have had that one.
Yes, it was.
If I'm Reno, I'm not going to put the ball right in Magic's hands. Whoops, third and 12.
And it's third and long because I feel like they're so in control of this game right here. If they turn it over and it stays a one-score game, I mean, you're giving Chicago life when you might be able to just put them away.
Third and 12. Trips to the bottom. Pressure on its way and sacked. Pressure gets home as DJ Kilgannon gets the sack. But still going to allow a field goal here, well within Mickey Malillo's range. It'll make it a two-score ball game again.
Well, that's a double and 7. Misses his second one. The second one was short, right? That he actually attempted, and this one here is well within his range, and he doesn't miss many.
Missed one earlier from 50 plus. This one inside the right upright and good. 9-play, 53-yard drive ending in a 3-point field goal. 3 minutes off the clock. 305 Dade County asking if you have to pay for Discord. The application is free. The Discord server is free. You can join in and chat with everybody in the league, learn more about it, and maybe sign up for a player at some point. Small monthly fee to have a player in the league, but there's plenty of things that you can do in the league for free as well, including joining the broadcast team if that's something that he's interested in doing. We're always looking for some fresh new talent. Ryan Orlovsky brings that one up to the 32-yard line, and we'll see what Chicago can do. 11 seconds to go here in the the third quarter.
Yeah, and so much more to do in the SFL, right? Like I do think for the, the small fee you pay, there's so much more that comes with that other than just, having your player on the field. It's something really good.
Patak, right side, dangerous pass is incomplete. Gus Scott, the intended target. How many likes do we have on this video so far? It's not enough. Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And make sure you've got your notifications on so you won't miss a minute of SFL and SFLM action, and help the channel grow through your support. Second down and 10. Patak under pressure gets the pass away and caught by Arlovsky. A pickup of 3 yards that'll set them up with a 3rd down and 7. 3 quarters in the books. 10 minutes remains here from Minnesota. The Legend in control of this one. 13-3 over Chicago. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Mike Daggs. He is Gerald Smith. Justin Reside, Eddie Gage on stats, Cameron Irvine on production. Appreciate you joining us all this evening for this frigid game in Minnesota. Patak on 3rd down again, under pressure, hit as he throws, and it falls down to the turf. And Philip DeField on to punt for a lost count. He's been out here a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Like a lot more than you would want your punter, right? Like he's earning his pay, and he's gonna have to, dunk his leg in some sort of an ice bath or something, because it's getting like heavy use today. I have a question.
Okay.
So, what is Minnesota food-wise possibly known for?
I mean, when I went to Minnesota last month, I had Mexican, but
I don't think they're known for their Mexican.
It was good though.
I'm just curious. I'm trying to think of like geographic Chicago, right? Like Chicago
deep dish pizza
and stuff like that.
Detroit, they got the Detroit style pizza,
right? So, and I'm like, what is Minnesota like known for as far as dish wise?
Mexican, as far as I know.
Mexican.
There's a fine Mexican place in Ann Arbor. If I could remember the name, I would tell you. T-Pat in the chat says cheese curds. Isn't that Wisconsin?
I'm about to say, isn't Wisconsin? I thought the same thing. I was thinking, I can't say cheese because I think
it's Wisconsin.
That's some other place. Which one looks like the glove? Is that Michigan?
It's Michigan.
Looks like the mitt.
Yeah, it looks like a little mitten. But don't forget about the peninsula up top. People forget that that's part of Michigan too. It's not just the mitten.
It's not a stranded piece of land.
No, it's actually part of the USA.
Oh.
So blueberry muffins and fried cheese curds. Tater tot hot dish.
What is hot dish? What is on the dish that makes it hot?
Something hot. Tater tots.
They have to explain that to me.
It's probably like tater tots and cheese or something.
Hot dish.
You know what would be good? Tater tots covered in cheese and then like bacon, like a little crumbled bacon on it.
Dude, you've never had that?
No, is that a thing?
Yeah, that's amazing. So you get like tater tots fried, obviously, and then you put like some sort of like it can be queso or some sort of a nacho cheese or something, and then you just drop
Axel
bacon
Ravens
pieces on it.
Luke Fisk? Is he like cursing at us in some sort of secret Minnesota language?
I have no idea.
One of those freaking Luke Fisk. Like,
walking tacos. I don't know.
That's just a bag of Doritos, and they throw some like ground beef and cheese in
I
there.
will say I know what a pierogi. Greg Soda, I know what a pierogi is. Those things are quite delicious.
Picked
no.
off. Stop talking about food, Gerald. Cronkworthy got to pick Chicago right back in it.
Look, and what they got to do, they have to take this and have to turn this into points, right? You're 2 scores down, you're 10 points down, still well within your reach. It's early in the fourth quarter. Who cares about food? These guys are trying to win a game.
Who cares about fish, too? Robert Henson said it was
I
a
like
fish.
food. I had that food.
Oh, I
had that
too.
food physique.
We had some good spaghetti and meatballs for dinner tonight.
It was delicious.
We got brownies waiting for us after the game. Homemade, fresh-baked brownies. Our production crew takes care of us.
No, we travel with cooks, man.
We do. two personal chefs. Baloo Scott, the intended target on that one. That pass is incomplete. Hot dish is basically tater tots, cheese, usually, ground beef all baked together. Tater tots are typically the crown of the dish. So are the tater tots crispy? Because I love crispy tater tots.
You can't have them soggy.
No, but I think they would if they're cooked in with ground beef. All the grease from the beef would like.
But he said it's the top.
It's the top. It's the top.
It's the top, so it don't get soggy.
Hot dish.
I would eat that. That sounds like something I would eat. Hot dish.
Kind of wondering why I didn't get that when I was there.
Axel's got to make it, and
I guess I got to go back.
Or
Patak over the middle.
Or Schmidt can bring it.
There's the one that you were asking for much earlier on in the ball game, Gerald. Pauly Truth gets the catch. It's plays like that. That's the reason why.
And that's and this is what I'm talking about with them, right? And look how and for here it seems like he's actually been unaccounted for quite a bit, right? Because Pauly, Truth, for most people, especially people that are fairly new, don't even know who he is. He was a force to be reckoned with not that long ago, and I don't know why their offense got away from it. Because he was such a game changer. He made the All-Star team not that long ago, a couple of seasons ago, and he was a tight end and a player that you would mention along with him, Lauren Prococo, James Matthews Jr., and everything else. Those were tight ends that actually would take over a game, and he was one of those things. But for some place in between there, they actually just I don't know. They just lost it for whatever reason. Pauly Truth he can be a very dynamic player.
Second down and 4. Going down to that backup running game once again.
Stewart was not very fast there.
No, he's not known for his speed.
He had too much hot dish pregame.
When visiting Minnesota, apparently that's what you do. And you have the lutfish. I don't know. There's whatever they said. Where I thought they were cursing at us.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a fish. Boiled and fried pierogies. Fried, I don't know about boiled.
Fried in butter, like you just get them in butter. Oh, it's amazing.
Patak.
Oh, such an opportunity.
Yeah, just outside the reach of Da Vinci's hands. Eddie Gage bringing up a good point. Season 21, Pauly Truth was just absolutely unguardable. That was when, we thought that, he's one of the elite tight ends in the game, and now it's just been kind of invisible.
Yeah, and I don't. It still boggles me why they got away from it, because they were actually really good when he was involved. Like they are a better team when he's a very large part of their offense, right? And everybody else, in the passing game is almost a compliment to him because he was able to take over a game. And then they have Baloo Scott doing her thing as well. So I think it's a very, very, important thing for them to try and get him involved. I mean, put him out there in these 4 wide sets.
3rd and 9. They want to try to at least get a field goal. Pressure coming and sacked. Losing 5 yards. It's painful to see. Is Chloe Meerkat gets there along with Max Knight.
The 2 Meerkats on the defensive front, man, they got like 8 sacks, 7-8 sacks.
45-yard field goal. Yeah, it's ridiculous. 45-yard field goal try coming up to try to make this a 1-score possession again. Kick is on its way, curving back in, and it's off the upright and no good.
What's that little doom,
boom? Are you ready?
Oh, man.
Boom.
Do it again.
Boom. That's not nice. Minnesota takes over on downs here with the missed field goal try, and that was such a key opportunity to try to turn it into a 1-score possession.
And they had to turn over to do it, and they were moving.
Oh, Lutefisk. It's a fish. A delicacy, apparently. Reno over the middle. No flag at all so far in this game. Well, I guess there was that phantom clipping call that was declined.
Just don't worry about it.
Never mind that now.
The decision making was not very good there. Look, it would have just pushed him back and it had him re-kick it, but maybe they thought they were better getting it out at the 20.
Reno
He's gonna
rolling
run.
out. He was just waiting to take off there. The defense actually ready for it that time. Still picks up 5 yards, but a 3rd down and 5 for the Legend. Approaching the 5-minute mark, Gerald, they have to get this stop.
Yeah, look, and they do, and then they have to quickly turn it around and get points on the board because they had an opportunity, but they just missed it.
Reno down the right side and complete. Jay Taylor gets the 1st down, and the clock will continue to roll.
I don't have anything really to say right here. I mean, they had an opportunity to field goal, and their defense needs to get. Look, you can't expect the defense to hold a team like this. What we know what Minnesota can be. You know, they were high. You know, and you know, putting points on the board last season. And I feel like this Chicago defense did an admirable job holding them, I mean, to this point, to 13 points to give their offense a chance. Their offense just, there's no other way to put it. Their offense has let them down.
2nd down and 9. We've got an update from SFL Studios. Cameron Irvine, take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Los Angeles, D.C. playing hard. 3rd and goal at the goal line. The Dragons are able to punch it in, but L.A. just got to stop. 14-7 D.C. About 8.5 to go in that one. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam. A couple of close games tonight. Some low-scoring games so far here in the league. In the early going. Colin Hart doing what he needs to do to get his team a win. It looks like, you know, if things hold here, Minnesota will start to get things turned around. You know, they are already in rare territory, having 2 losses through only 3 games played. Would have been unheard of for the Legend, at least, to go to 1-3 on the season. It looks like they'll advance to 2-2. Chicago, on the other hand, they started last season with 4 losses as well, and it looks like they are going to fall to 0-4 again. It's difficult for the team to have to experience that twice.
Yeah, and look, Minnesota came in as 10.5 point favorites right here, and look, if they kind of melt this clock away, it looks like they're going to actually cut the spread, right? So, you know, look, the Jax data team is, you know, does a very good job of setting these spreads and stuff like that. Look, and they see, and even the odds makers and everybody out there, I mean, that, you know, it kind of keeps up with the league, has known that Chicago has kind of been struggling, you know, for the better part of a season and now a quarter of a season. And it's just, you know, it's unexplainable, you know, for me. I can't explain what the problem is. I mean, they're just not looking good, like, at all. They can't hold on the ball. They can't catch. And, you know, like the run game, you know, which we thought that, hey, look, with Baloo Scott coming back, that they were going to be able to be a lot better than what they were last season. And
she needs help.
You know, and we just yeah, and that's part of it, right? You know, she needs somebody to spell her and have a quality backup behind her to actually, you know, help everything flow a little bit better, and you know, maybe going with 5 wide receivers and just may not have been, you know, like the key, the right move for them.
1st down and 10 for Chicago for Minnesota as they approach the 2-minute warning. We will hit the 2-minute warning here in Minnesota. The Legend in a comfortable lead now with only 2 minutes to go. You're watching the Simulation Football League right here on the Virtual Football Network, the official network of SFLM, SFL, UFL, and so much more coming soon. The Virtual Football Network, where all the best virtual football lives. Final 2 minutes from the 17-yard line. 2-score lead for Minnesota as Colin Hart makes it a 3-score lead with an impressive 22-yard rushing touchdown. And Minnesota is going to get the win. They're going to go to 2-2.
And that's what Colin Hart does, right? Like, takes over late in games and ends up in a situation where this right here happens, right? Goes in there, takes over, you know, the game toward the end, and just kind of just finishes and, you know, finish the opposing team off. He now has over 100 yards today and got himself a touchdown. So, you know, Colin Hart doing his thing, and it was a little slow going ride for both. But I mean, you and I seen it pretty much, you know, halfway through the first quarter that Minnesota seemingly had this in hand, and it was their game to lose.
Yeah.
Because Chicago couldn't mount any kind of momentum or offense or anything else. If Chicago doesn't score, a touchdown here, I mean, can we really say, is there a team that has only scored one touchdown through 4 games of a season ever?
I'd have to look that back up, but we'll see. We'll see what Chicago could do on what's likely their final possession of the ball game, and let's also see what Mark Mello can do. So he's got 6 sacks, and Chicago an obvious passing situation here. Week 4 of the SFL season 24 rolls on tomorrow, headlined by a battle of West Titans, the Washington Trident, and the Sin City Samurai at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Other matchups include Nashville, Arizona, Charleston, Florida, and Albuquerque, Queen City, all right here, all on the Virtual Football Network. 4 wide receiver set for Chicago from their own 27-yard line. Oh, Mello off the line quick, too. That pass is complete to Da Vinci. Chicago is going to use up their timeouts.
I don't know why you would do that so early. So many questions as far as decision making with Chicago tonight, but it's been a rough game. It's been a rough 4 games in a row this season.
Attack under pressure again, gets that one complete, but only for a gain of 2 as Chicago burns timeout number 2.
So we have brownies waiting on us. That's great.
I'm still thinking about hot dish.
It sounds like I'd seen them talking about the leet fish, Lete fish.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know. I don't know if it
Lutefisk.
I don't know.
Patak.
Oh, look at this.
Matthew Alvarado.
Oh, he stiff on the guy.
To the 20, the 10, all the way down to the 6-yard line. First down and goal, and that's all she wrote as Matthew Alvarado continues to build his case for an all-star appearance. What a game. What a season so far for Matthew Alvarado.
Wow, and that just basically summed up Chicago's offense thus far in the season and this game as well. They just, seemingly, look, and I don't mean any disrespect by anything, but they just look really bad, and it's seeming like they are in their own way because they assembled such a talented squad, and they just can't understand why they just can't just make it all come together at all. It just mind boggles me.
Chicago burns their final timeout. Reno will just need to kneel a couple more down, and we should there should be enough time on the clock to run this one out. Minnesota, I'm interested to see what they do going forward, Gerald, because even though they're getting the win here in this one, that 20-3 score to me is not really indicative of how this game actually went, because Chicago was in it even with only 3 points on the board. They were in this game for a long time. Minnesota with 2 losses, granted it's to Mexico City and to Baltimore, but those were substantial losses, and they beat Atlanta by 1 score. They've got some tough opponents on their schedule coming up as well. They head into the bye week next week, but then they've got the Albuquerque Adams, and Indianapolis, who granted is 1-2 this season, Oklahoma City, who does not have a win, but they've got Denver, who's got a winning record, Bossier City, who's undefeated, Arizona currently at 1-1, but they're going to have a winning record at some point here. It's going to be an interesting go for them the rest of the way. Los Angeles at DC. DC in the lead 14-10, about midway through the 4th quarter as we wrap things up in this one. For Chicago, doesn't get any easier for them, Gerald. They've got Baltimore next week, and then Nashville and Oklahoma City. So maybe in week 6 and 7 they've got some potential reprieve as both of those teams are winless. As 3 more points added on to the board. But what do you see for both of these teams going forward?
I just and for me, I do know that Chicago is probably looking ahead right here because they actually have out of the 3 next weeks that they have currently, 2 of those teams are winless right now. You know, they have the Vultures next week at 2-1, but they face a winless Nashville team. And then, you know, they actually have themselves going up with a winless Oklahoma City team that we know. And is this a touchdown?
Yeah, Fullerton almost breaks it.
Double them sevens like I'm not having it.
The littlest tackle in the world right there.
But, like, look, Chicago's got to figure something out and quick, right? And next week's going to be extremely tough for them, you know, to actually try and find themselves against Baltimore. But if they find themselves against some of these other teams, you know, like that are actually down in their luck, and you know, and someone, they might be able to find a little bit of something there, right? But it's not looking good for them right now. You know, it doesn't get any easier, right? Because the way they played tonight, only putting up 3 points and not really looking crisp at all on offense. Their wide receivers couldn't hang on to a pass to kind of save their life, not helping out the team. They got a whole lot to kind of work on the back end.
Patak heaves that one downfield, and 0-0 on the clock. That wraps up today's game. Chicago will fall to 0-4 on the season. Minnesota will improve to 2-2. Next up for Chicago, as we mentioned, they will be back at home. They'll host the Baltimore Vultures, currently sitting at 2-1, Saturday, February 1st at 9:15 p.m. And for Minnesota, they head to the bye week. Then week 6, they are back here in Minnesota with the hot dish tater tot thing, you know, as they host the currently undefeated Albuquerque Adams coming up tomorrow here on the Simulation Football League. Got Nashville at Arizona and Washington at Sin City during the 6:30 block. Charleston at Florida, and Albuquerque and Queen City face off in the 9 o'clock block. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. Minnesota wins it 23-3. For Gerald Smith, Justin Reside, Eddie Gage, Cameron Irvine, and Matt Wilson, who's always with me in spirit, I'm Mike Daggs. Thanks for joining us. Be kind to one another. Always choose happy. Have a great night.